Federal judge blocking the Trump administration from revoking the legal status of more than 500,000 immigrants. They were admitted under a controversial Biden-era parole program. Legal scholar Jonathan Turley breaking this down with Dana and me last hour.
Joe Biden created this out of executive authority, and we have stopped it out of executive authority. We believe that it's riddled with fraud and that it's harmful to the government's interest.
Okay, so National Review staff writer Caroline Downey's here and Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz. Good morning to both of you. So Professor Turley rightly points out 2022, an executive order signed by President Biden. Since that time, you've got this many people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. They total 530,000. What the judge said is that you got to take it case by case. They're going to take a time.
That's what they want to do. They want to run out the clock as best they can. Look, who's running this country? I think it should be the President of the United States. I don't think there's a case to be had. And I think it's so frustrating to the American people who had an election about this. They want to have this happen. And look, Donald Trump has a plan. You're breaking law here illegally. In order to do restitution, you got to go back to where you came from. It's that simple. He did it by executive order. Biden did. That's what Trump's doing. That's what they should do.
One of the things, Caroline, is that the problems are not solving at the source, right? So then you have a situation like Haiti, which is basically a failed state. And so the Biden administration was like, okay, you're allowed to come in. It wasn't supposed to be permanent, but when it was happening, we all kind of knew, like, well, how are they going to get out? And now a judge is saying you have to go one by one. That would take forever.
Absolutely. And back in March, a federal judge in San Francisco blocked Trump's revocation of these work permits on the grounds that it would hurt the economy, which is not a legal argument. That's right. An activist argument and supports the criticisms that these judges are going beyond interpreting the law and they're wading into politics. And as you said, TPS includes the word temporary. It was not meant to be this blanket admission of illegal, or in this case, they're legal immigrants into this country, but that's how Biden treated it when he extended
you had to
right
have a
before
sponsor, and you were allowed to stay here for up to 2 years.
Yeah.
Under the app program.
Well, right. But, you know, Biden, at the 11th hour, right before he left office, he extended it, right, obviously creating a headache for President Trump. That being said, as you mentioned, Trump does have the onus, I think, in this case, of proving that TPS is no longer necessary. And the way to do that is to prove that Venezuela and Haiti are no longer dangerous. And I think they still are.
We put something up on the air a moment ago. This is the number of border apprehensions in the month of March. So in 2025, that bottom number is 7,181. In the first 2 days of March of last year, you're at 137,000. The decrease at 95%. Wow. You know, whether it's tariffs or whether it's DOGE or whether it's these court cases, this is something that the Trump team can say on day 100 that we took action.
Yeah, they did take action, and it has been very successful. But politically, Democrats continue to tell the American people we care more about people that are here illegally than we do Americans. We care more about the criminal element than we do the lawful legal citizens of this country. That's the message being broadcast out to the average person who doesn't understand all these legal wranglings. They know Trump wants to solve the problem. Democrats want to get in his way, and that does not bode well for them long term.
So where do you think this goes from here as a last word?
I do think that it's going to keep escalating to the point where, I mean, the Supreme Court, we know, already weighed in on the case of the, illegal alien who was thought to be an MS-13. I think they're going to have to weigh in with this because it's just, Trump is testing the limits of executive authority. He's definitely pushing that on purpose because, as you mentioned, Jason, he is the leader of the land. So if Biden instituted TPS and extended it, can Trump revoke it? I think that's the big question.
Great to have you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caroline, Jason, thanks much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.